Hello, I hope you all are well. Today's lesson is going to be about Paul, who used to be Saul, who's now Paul, and he's a huge follower of Jesus. And he did so many things. There are so many stories about Paul, but this one is about Paul's journey to Rome and all of the things that happened to him while he was on his way. As you can see, there was a shipwreck there, and then he was bitten by a snake here, and just a whole bunch of things that went on with him. Okay. It was finally decided that Paul should be taken to Rome and stand trial before Caesar himself. They looked at him as kind of a troublemaker because he was a follower of Jesus. He and certain other prisoners were put in the charge of a centurion called Julius, and under his care they set sail from Adramyttium. I'm sure I said that right. As they came near to the island of Crete, a strong wind began to blow, and soon a storm was howling around them. In fear of their lives, the sailors hauled down the sails, then strengthened the sides of the ship with ropes before finally throwing overboard anything that they could lay their hands on. For 3 days and nights, the storm raged and death seemed near. Paul, however, calmed their fears. God has told me that although the ship will be wrecked, none of you will die, he said to them. Eventually, the watch reported that they were running into shallow water, and Paul repeated that they need not fear, that no harm would come to any of them. Now you must eat, he said, to keep up your strength and your spirits. Remember what I have told you. No one will lose his life, but you must have food to survive. Then Paul took some bread, broke it into pieces, and gave thanks to God. Everyone drew courage from this and began to eat. At dawn, they saw that they had drifted near the shore, and so by hoisting the mainsail, they brought the ship onto a sandy bank, where she ran aground before breaking up in the rough water. At first, the soldiers wanted to kill the prisoners, fearing that they might, in the confusion, try to escape. Julius, however, anxious for Paul's safety, persuaded them to let the captives save themselves as best they could. He ordered all who could swim to jump into the sea, and the rest to hang on to any broken plank or piece of rigging and propel themselves towards the land. The island to which they had come was Malta, and the inhabitants welcomed the shipwrecked survivors, lighting a fire to warm them, for it was raining and bitterly cold. Paul, who had been gathering sticks for the fire, was suddenly attacked by a viper, whose poisonous bite is known to be fatal. But Paul, unhurt, shook off the snake, which left not even a mark on his hand. The people were amazed. This must be a man of God, they said. The governor of the island, Publius, gave them all lodging in his own quarters. Publius's father was dangerously ill with a fever, and Paul cured the sick man by laying his hands on him. After this, many others came to him to be healed, and Paul was treated with the greatest of honor and respect. Eventually, they left Malta and sailed to Rome, where Paul and the other prisoners were handed over to the captain of the guard. Paul was allowed to live comfortably in his own rented house, but with a sentry to watch him day and night. Many came to hear him, and for 2 years Paul welcomed all comers, explaining the teaching of Jesus and spreading the word of God. So he had an interesting trip. This is a very simple craft. It's actually not a craft. It's more a find and search. As you can see, it's a picture of Paul telling them he encourages others in the storm with the message from God, don't be afraid. And then there's a list of things that they want you to find in the picture. Well, I hope you enjoyed the story, and I hope you have fun finding all of the stuff that they're saying is lost in this picture. Hope to see you soon.